At 75, Chris Norman has reached a point in life where silence feels unnecessary. After decades of musical success, personal stability, and creative evolution, he has finally decided to speak openly about one of the most influential figures of his era, Suzi Quatro. For years, fans have speculated about the relationship between these two iconic artists. Now, Norman is ready to share his truth, not as gossip or controversy, but as an honest tribute to a fellow pioneer. His story is not just about fame or music. It's about the deep respect that grows when you witness someone break barriers, endure pressure, and still remain true to themselves. Norman's words reveal the truth behind the stage lights, showing how Quatro's impact reached far beyond the charts and helped reshape the rock world for everyone who followed. Early roots, a childhood built on music. Chris Norman was born Christopher Ward Norman on October 25, 1950, in Redcar, North Yorkshire, England. His childhood was steeped in music because his father was a professional singer and entertainer. The Norman household was not a place where music was occasional, it was constant. When the family moved to Bradford, young Chris was surrounded by the vibrant post-war British music scene, where rock and roll and early pop were shaping youth culture. As a teenager, he learned guitar and began performing with school friends, developing a distinctive voice that was husky, emotional, and deeply human. Even in those early years, his vocal style stood out from the polished singers of the era. It carried rawness and sincerity, qualities that would later become his trademark. Those formative years built the foundation for the career that would follow, setting him on a path toward international success. Smokey, the band that changed everything. In the mid-1960s, Norman formed a band with friends Alan Silson, Terry Utley, and Ron Kelly, later replaced by Pete Spencer. After years of playing small venues and struggling for attention, the group finally found its identity as Smokey. Their breakthrough arrived in the mid-1970s when they began working with the songwriting and production duo Mike Chapman and Nicky Chinn. With Norman's voice at the forefront, Smokey released a series of hits that captured the spirit of the decade. Songs like Living Next Door to Alice, If You Think You Know How to Love Me, Don't Play Your Rock and Roll to Me, and Lay Back in the Arms of Someone became international anthems. Norman's vocals brought emotional depth and vulnerability, giving each song a sense of sincerity that resonated with millions. Smokey became especially popular in Europe, Australia, and the UK, selling tens of millions of records and building a fan base that remains loyal to this day. The strain of success, creative freedom. Lost by the early 1980s, the band's relentless schedule began to take its toll. Years of touring, recording, and industry pressure made the members feel creatively constrained. Norman, in particular, yearned for artistic freedom. He wanted to explore music beyond the established Smokey sound and discover a more personal voice. In 1986, he made the difficult decision to leave the band and pursue a solo career. It was a risky move. Leaving a successful group can often end an artist's career. But Norman's instincts proved correct. His solo work allowed him to grow as an artist and express emotional themes with greater honesty. His voice, once the centerpiece of Smokey's pop rock sound, became a more intimate instrument, softer, more reflective, and emotionally powerful. Solo success, the duet that defined a new era. Norman's solo career began with an unexpected and massive success. In 1986, his duet with Suzi Quatro, Stumblin' In, became an international hit. The song showcased a tender side of Norman's voice, revealing emotional nuance and vulnerability. The duet introduced him to a new generation of listeners and proved he could thrive outside the band. Following this breakthrough, Norman released a string of solo albums that cemented his reputation as a mature artist. Songs like Midnight Lady, Some Hearts Are Diamonds, and No Arms Can Ever Hold You became especially popular in Germany, Scandinavia, and Eastern Europe. He achieved near-legendary status in those regions, demonstrating that his talent could transcend cultural and linguistic barriers. His solo work blended pop, soft rock, and subtle country influences, focusing on themes of love, longing, and reflection. A career built to last, longevity over nostalgia. What sets Chris Norman apart is his remarkable longevity. Decades after his initial success, he continues to tour, release albums, and perform to sold-out audiences across Europe. He has never relied solely on nostalgia. While he honors his past with Smokey, he continues to create new music, showing a rare balance between legacy and growth. His voice, weathered by time yet rich with character, remains instantly recognizable. Norman's performances still carry the raw emotion that first captivated listeners in the 1970s. This enduring relevance is rare in an industry built on trends. Norman's ability to move audiences year after year proves that true artistry is timeless. His success is not just a relic of the past, it's an ongoing story of creativity and resilience. Awards, reunions, and live triumphs. In 1994, Norman received one of his most prestigious accolades, CMT Europe's International Video Star of the Year. During a time when music television shaped global stardom, the award recognized his powerful voice and emotional connection with audiences. A decade later, in 2004, he participated in a German comeback show on ProSieben. His performance of Stumblin' In as a duet with pop icon Suzi Quatro became a highlight, blending nostalgia with renewed energy. The series reached an emotional peak when Smokey reunited for the final song, creating a moment that felt more like a heartfelt celebration than a television performance. In 2019, Norman headlined the White Nights Music Festival in St. Petersburg, celebrating the 50-year career of Russian legend Alla Pugacheva. Sharing the stage with artists like Level 42 and Bonnie Tyler, he once again proved that his music transcends generations and borders. A private life in contrast to public fame. While his career remained public, Norman's personal life was defined by stability and devotion. In 1970, before Smokey achieved international fame, he married Linda. Their marriage formed before the pressures of stardom, which allowed it to grow on solid ground. In an industry known for broken relationships, their partnership endured for more than 5 decades. Linda remained a private presence, supporting Norman behind the scenes. Together, they raised 5 children, and Norman has always emphasized that family came first. Even during long tours and recording sessions, he made sure to remain involved in his children's lives. Their decision to move to the Isle of Man in 1986 reinforced their desire for privacy and normalcy. The island provided tranquility and distance from celebrity culture, allowing Norman to focus on music without sacrificing family life. The Isle of Man, a home and creative sanctuary. The move to the Isle of Man was not just a geographical change, it was a symbolic choice. The island offered privacy, peace, and a sense of community that suited Norman's desire for a grounded life. It became his creative refuge, a place where he could write, record, and reflect without the constant glare of the media. From this quiet base, he continued to tour internationally, proving that artistic success does not require living at the center of the entertainment industry. The Isle of Man became a symbol of his values, commitment, family, and authenticity. Norman's decision to live away from the spotlight reinforced his reputation as a grounded and approachable artist. It also allowed him to preserve his personal life while continuing to build a global musical legacy. At 75, the truth about Suzi Quatro. Now, at 75, Chris Norman has finally spoken openly about Suzi Quatro. He describes their connection not as a rivalry, but as mutual respect. Looking back at the early 1970s, Norman remembers a music scene that was raw, competitive, and full of possibility. Suzi Quatro arrived as a force that could not be ignored. Norman explains that she didn't try to fit into the industry's expectations, she created her own space. As a female rock musician playing bass and leading a hard-edged band, she broke rules that had been unspoken but rigid. Norman admits that her presence forced male musicians to rethink assumptions. She was tough, talented, and uncompromising. Their paths crossed repeatedly during tours and TV appearances, and Norman remembers Quatro as straightforward, honest, and unpretentious. She wasn't interested in pretense. What you saw was what you got. A tribute to a pioneer. Why Norman speaks now. Norman also speaks about the pressures Quatro faced behind the scenes. She had to work twice as hard to be taken seriously, and she refused to be packaged or controlled. She fought to maintain her identity, and Norman believes that deserves recognition. When asked why he chose now to speak, Norman says that age brings honesty. At 75, he no longer worries about how words will be received. He simply wants the record to be fair. For him, fairness means acknowledging Quatro's influence and resilience. He insists she deserves her place in rock history, not as a novelty or a label, but as an artist. He reflects on how time has softened rivalries and misunderstandings. "We were all trying to survive," he says. "Now there is only respect." His final message is clear. Quatro raised the bar for everyone, and her courage still inspires musicians today. Outro, a legacy of respect and courage. Chris Norman's truth about Suzi Quatro is not a scandal, it's a tribute. At 75, he speaks with the clarity of a man who has lived through the highs and lows of the music industry, and still carries deep respect for those who fought to change it. His words remind fans that rock history is shaped not only by hits, but by the courage to break boundaries. Norman's story, intertwined with Quatro's, reveals the human side of an era defined by ambition, rivalry, and creativity. And in the end, his tribute honors a fellow pioneer whose impact continues to echo through rock music today.